0513 local time. The ocean is calm, the surface almost perfectly flat. The air barely moves. Inside the carrier's Combat Information Center, the steady pulse of passive sonar hums quietly in the background. Thin green lines slide slowly across dark screens. The watch is routine. Everything behaves exactly as expected. Then the sound changes. A sudden spike cuts through the quiet pattern of noise. Brief, unnatural, impossible to ignore. Someone says a single word. Transient. It's spoken calmly, but every person in the room hears it. The sonar operator leans closer to the display, eyes locked on the moving lines. The contact doesn't act like marine life. It doesn't drift or wander. It accelerates. Another update appears. New contact, high speed, bearing 274. There are still no alarms, no flashing lights, only calm voices and steady hands. The operator adjusts the filters. The signal sharpens. The signature becomes clearer. Mechanical, balanced, intentional. And then the words everyone understands arrive. Weapon in the water. The atmosphere in the room shifts instantly. Not panic, not chaos, just intense focus. Screens refresh together. The contact speed increases again. Its depth stabilizes. The bearing remains constant. Someone states it in a quiet, clinical tone. Torpedo launch confirmed. Up on the bridge, the carrier continues forward exactly as before. From the outside, nothing looks different. No sharp turns, no visible reaction. 80,000 tons of steel cut smoothly through the water, leaving a long white trail behind. But below decks, the clock has started. The tactical display redraws itself. A red line stretches across the screen from somewhere deep beneath the surface, pointing directly toward the ship. The range is shrinking. Time to impact, under 7 minutes. No one needs to say what that means. There is no announcement, no siren. Every person in the room already understands the numbers. The sonar operator keeps speaking, voice steady. Active guidance suspected. That detail matters. This isn't a simple weapon, it's listening. It's adjusting. The officer of the watch speaks calmly. Condition 1, anti-submarine warfare. Those words move through the ship faster than any sound wave. On the flight deck, sailors pause mid-step. Aircraft crews freeze with hands on control panels. The wind carries only the distant hum of turbines and the soft rush of water. No one runs. Back inside CIC, the displays clear away environmental noise. Background clutter disappears, leaving only the signals that matter. Now, the torpedo's path is unmistakable. Its speed remains constant. Its bearing doesn't change. Its purpose is clear. The weapon is heading straight for the carrier. The captain enters the room quietly. No ceremony, no urgency in his stride. He studies the display for a moment and nods once. Maintain course. The order lands with weight. Holding course is not hesitation, it's mathematics. Turning too early could actually make things easier for a weapon already tracking the ship, so the carrier holds steady. The torpedo accelerates again, speed increasing, depth unchanged. At another console, a watchstander analyzes the water column. The acoustic profile suggests something heavy, long endurance, designed specifically for large targets. Another update flashes across the screen. Closing fast. 6 minutes. The room stays quiet except for calm voices and the soft tapping of keys. Every second is logged, every detail recorded. Then the headphones reveal a new sound. Faint at first, but unmistakable. A sharp, high-frequency pulse. Active ping detected. At that moment, uncertainty disappears. The weapon is no longer searching randomly. It has committed. Still, the carrier does not turn. Outside, the horizon looks exactly the same as it did minutes earlier. Sunlight reflects off the water. The sky remains empty. Inside the ship, however, the ocean has transformed into a battlefield measured in seconds and meters. The tactical display updates again. The red vector inches closer. Calculations refine themselves automatically. 5 minutes. The captain speaks again. Prepare countermeasures. Stand by, not yet. The torpedo adjusts course once more, responding to the carrier's wake pattern. It's adapting, closing the distance. The sonar operator exhales slowly. No decoys deployed. Holding. Everyone understands the reasoning. Deploy too early and the weapon learns. Wait too long and there may be no second chance. This is the narrow line where procedure meets judgment. 4 minutes. The carrier continues forward without deviation. Somewhere beneath the surface, metal races toward metal, guided by sound, speed, and intent. And in the next moments, measured not in minutes but heartbeats, everything may change. 5:16 local time. The torpedo is still running. Inside the Combat Information Center, the plot grows tighter. The red vector holds steady. But now something new begins to appear. At first it's subtle, then undeniable. Another pattern forms beneath the background noise. New contact. The sonar operator speaks quietly. Low frequency, slow mover. No one asks what it might be. Everyone already knows. The system begins peeling away layers of interference, thermal layers, marine life, distant echoes, until a single acoustic fingerprint remains. A long cylindrical propulsion rhythm. Pulses spaced with precise, deliberate timing. The room leans closer to the screens. Shooter contact developing. That realization changes everything. The torpedo is no longer just a threat. It's a trail. If you can track the weapon, you can trace the source. The fire control team overlays the torpedo's path with possible launch angles. The geometry tightens. Lines converge across the screen. A shaded cone appears, an invisible funnel pointing back into the depths. There, a single point stabilizes at the narrow end of the cone. Range, several thousand yards. Depth, well below the thermal layer. Speed, minimal. It's hiding. The torpedo updates again, adjusting slightly to the carrier's wake. Its seeker continues working exactly as designed. The distance keeps shrinking. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. The captain studies the display. No hesitation. Launch the helicopter. Above the deck, rotor blades begin to spin. The sound spreads across the water. Deep, heavy, unmistakable. Moments later, the helicopter lifts smoothly from the flight deck and angles away from the carrier, nose down, racing toward the shaded cone on the tactical display. Inside CIC, attention splits between two battles now unfolding at once. One weapon inbound, one hunter being hunted. Inside the helicopter, the crew speaks only briefly. They don't need long conversations. Their flight path is already guided by the constant stream of data coming from the ship. Dipping sonar and 2 mics, comes the calm voice over the radio. The torpedo pings again, louder this time. Active guidance confirmed. No one reacts outwardly. The information simply becomes part of the picture. Finally, the carrier moves. Not a sharp turn, not yet. Instead, speed increases slightly, just enough to change the acoustic environment without signaling urgency. The wake grows heavier. The water behind the ship becomes more turbulent, more complex, harder to read. The torpedo responds. Weapon just corrected. Sonar reports. It's still tracking. 3 minutes. The helicopter reaches position and hovers low over the water, almost touching the surface. A cable drops down. The sonar dome slips beneath the waves. Everyone waits. Seconds stretch longer. Then the voice comes through. Contact. The helicopter operator speaks calmly. Solid return. Bearing matches shooter estimate. On the tactical display inside CIC, the shaded cone shrinks, until it becomes a single, unmistakable dot. "This is him," someone says quietly. The submarine still hasn't moved. It doesn't accelerate. It doesn't dive deeper. It doesn't try to escape. That's not hesitation. It's a decision. It's listening carefully, waiting to learn whether the torpedo reaches its target before making its own move. 2 minutes 40 seconds. The torpedo's speed stays steady. Its course remains direct and aggressive. It behaves like a weapon that is confident in its path. Inside CIC, another option lights up on the board. Countermeasures ready. Decoys standing by. Everything is prepared. But they wait. Above the water, the helicopter continues refining its position. With every second, its sonar picture becomes clearer. Confirmed submarine contact, no change in speed. That detail lands heavily. A submarine that stays still after launching a torpedo isn't careless, it's deliberate. It believes the strike will succeed. Then the captain's voice cuts through the quiet. Shift priority. Shooter is now primary. That moment changes the entire picture. The carrier is still in danger, but the logic has shifted. The threat is no longer just the weapon racing through the water, it's the platform that can launch another one. 2 minutes. The helicopter circles once tight and controlled, maintaining its sonar lock. Each pass makes the submarine's acoustic signature sharper, propulsion type, shaft rhythm. Every detail recorded and analyzed. The torpedo pings again, closer now. On the tactical display, the red vector approaches the carrier's defensive boundary. At the same time, the blue marker representing the submarine remains steady in the depths. Both tracks are moving toward their outcome. One of them is about to be interrupted. "Stand by," the captain says. The room grows completely still. 2 hunters, 2 targets. Only seconds remain before someone makes a critical mistake. 05:19 local time. The Torpedo crosses another range ring. Inside the Combat Information Center, the geometry tightens into a narrow corridor. The weapon is no longer searching. It's driving forward, steady, focused, committed. Prepare decoys. The tactical action officer gives the order calmly. Urgency only leads to mistakes. On the display, the carrier's projected wake spreads behind the ship like a complex cloud of sound, shaped by speed, displacement, and the movement of the sea. The torpedo seeker rides along the edge of it, making small, precise corrections. Deploy. Behind the carrier, countermeasures slip quietly into the water. Each one enters at exactly the right moment. They bloom into life behind the ship, creating artificial acoustic signatures, false targets meant to lure the weapon away. For a moment, it works. The torpedo hesitates, its track wavers. The red vector bends slightly toward the decoys. Weapon turning, sonar reports. No cheers follow, no reactions. Everyone waits. The carrier holds its course. Above the surface, the helicopter continues hovering low, its sonar locked firmly on the submarine below. Rotor blades beat the air in a steady thunder. Then the torpedo adjusts again. Correction, sonar says. It's reacquiring. The red line snaps back toward the carrier's real wake. The decoys have been rejected. That's the difference between theory and reality. This weapon compares signals. It analyzes. It adapts. Countermeasures ineffective, the watchstander confirms calmly. 1 minute, 50 seconds. The torpedo accelerates slightly, making up for lost time. Its seeker pings again. Stronger now. Sharper. Inside CIC, the room becomes even quieter. Not tense, just intensely focused. Everyone knows exactly how small the margin is becoming. The helicopter crew shifts position slightly. Shooter remains steady, the sensor operator reports. No maneuvering. That detail changes the interpretation. The submarine is still listening, still waiting. It believes its plan is working. The captain steps closer to the main display. Helicopter, he says calmly. Mark shooter as hostile. Prepare to engage. There it is. No dramatic language, no hesitation. Just a clear change in intent. The helicopter replies with a single word. Roger. 1 minute, 30 seconds. The torpedo is now inside the carrier's inner defensive geometry. For the first time, the ship begins to maneuver. Not sharply, not violently, but with clear purpose. The bow turns just enough to break the symmetry of the wake. Speed increases again. The water behind the ship becomes thicker, curling into chaotic patterns. The torpedo reacts instantly. Weapon correcting. Sonar calls out. Depth change observed. Now the torpedo is working harder, spending energy, making faster adjustments. But it's still coming. Inside CIC, another track begins drawing more attention. The submarine signature grows clearer with every second the helicopter maintains contact. Propulsor rhythm recorded, acoustic profile stable and disciplined. Then something changes. Shooter noise increasing, the helicopter reports. The submarine has made its first real move. It's not fast, not dramatic, but it's unmistakable. It knows it has been found. 1 minute. The torpedo is still the immediate threat, but the balance is shifting. The submarine can no longer assume it will disappear quietly after the launch. The captain's voice remains calm. Engage the shooter. The order doesn't cancel the incoming danger. It simply reframes the fight. The helicopter begins positioning for its approach, carefully maintaining sonar contact. Below the surface, the submarine finally reacts, turning shallowly, attempting to slide sideways out of the acoustic cone. It's a mistake. The movement makes its signature sharper. Contact solid, the helicopter confirms. Tracking maintained. 30 seconds. The torpedo pings again. Louder now. Closer. Inside CIC, no one looks away from the displays. Then a new report breaks the silence. Weapon losing stability, erratic corrections. The carrier's maneuvering, combined with the chaotic wake behind it, is disrupting the torpedo's solution. The weapon is burning energy, chasing a target picture that keeps shifting. 15 seconds. The helicopter commits. Deep below, the submarine hears it. New sounds, new pressure changes, clear intent. The torpedo makes one final correction. It overshoots. Weapon lost lock, sonar says. The red vector fractures on the display, and then disappears. The incoming threat is gone, but no one relaxes. Because now the hunter understands it has become the hunted. 0521 local time. The torpedo is no longer part of the equation. That fact settles quietly across the Combat Information Center. No one celebrates. No one says it aloud. The red track has vanished. But the room remains focused, because the submarine is still there. On the tactical display, its marker begins to drift. Slowly at first, then more deliberately. Its speed increases just enough to notice. Shooter maneuvering, the sonar operator reports. Bearing shift to the southeast. That's the first clear admission from below the surface. The submarine is leaving, not racing away, not panicking, just enough movement to slip back into distance and noise, hoping to disappear into the depths again. But this time, it won't work. The helicopter tightens its orbit, lowering once again and keeping the sonar dome steady beneath the surface. Each pulse now returns with greater clarity, strengthened by the submarine's own movement. Contact strengthening, the sensor operator reports. Another detail follows. Cavitation starting. Underwater, that's a sound no submarine wants to make. It means the vessel is pushing harder, sacrificing silence for speed, and the ocean punishes that decision instantly. Inside CIC, the tactical display redraws itself. The submarine's escape vector becomes visible, predictable, limited. From the distance, two surface escorts increase speed, spreading wide across the water to close off open paths. Their movements are precise, coordinated, and quiet. This is no longer defense, it's containment. The captain studies the geometry forming across the screen and speaks once. Keep pressure. Don't rush. Above the water, the helicopter adjusts again, shifting just enough to remain ahead of the submarine's projected path. The sonar picture sharpens further. Hull length, propulsion rhythm, depth profile. Everything becomes clearer. Below the surface, the submarine turns sharply, attempting to slip out of the sonar cone. It doesn't work. Shooter turning hard, the helicopter reports. Contact maintained. Every maneuver the submarine makes creates more noise. Every attempt to escape exposes it further. Every second it stays within range gives the surface forces more information. Then the submarine dives, depth increasing rapidly as it tries to trade speed for concealment. Water pressure rises. Thermal layers stack below, thick and cold. For a moment, the contact weakens. Then it returns. Reacquired, the helicopter operator says calmly, still tracking. The ocean rarely forgets that easily. The captain nods once. Proceed. No additional explanation is needed. The helicopter steadies itself and then commits. A weapon drops cleanly into the water. No drama, no rush. It slips beneath the surface and begins its own quiet pursuit. Inside CIC, two tracks now dominate the display, one fleeing, one following. The submarine hears it almost immediately. Its propulsion spikes. Cavitation erupts through the water column, loud and unmistakable. Now the escape is no longer controlled, it's desperate. The submarine turns again, sharper this time, trying to outrun the closing geometry, but it can't. The pursuing weapon adjusts with cold precision, matching every movement, correcting without hesitation. The distance between them collapses rapidly. Up on the surface, the carrier continues forward, steady and composed, already fading into the background of the fight. This moment is no longer about protecting the ship. It's about control beneath the waves. Shooter slowing, sonar reports. Erratic movement. The submarine is running out of options. Then something changes. The contact flickers, fragments. The propulsion rhythm breaks apart and dissolves into scattered echoes that no longer resemble controlled movement. Inside CIC, no one speaks. No assumptions, no conclusions. Seconds pass. Then the helicopter operator's voice returns over the channel. Shooter no longer maneuvering. That's all. The surface ships reduce speed slightly, holding their positions and watching the water where the submarine was last detected. No further sonar pulses chase it. No additional weapons follow. The message beneath the ocean has already been delivered. Inside CIC, the display clears. One track disappears. One threat removed from the picture. No announcements, no celebration, just silence. The captain turns away from the screen. Resume posture, he says. The carrier gradually returns to its original course. Engines settle into their steady rhythm. The wake smooths into a long white line trailing across the sea. Above deck, aircraft crews move again. Hands return to panels, tools, and routine tasks as if nothing unusual had interrupted them. Below the surface, the ocean closes quietly over the last disturbance. No debris rises, no signals follow, only silence. And in this world, silence is never random. 5:26 local time. The ocean returns to routine. From the carrier's bridge, the horizon looks exactly the same. Flat water under pale light, nothing hinting at what unfolded beneath it just minutes earlier. The ship holds its course, engines steady, the wake narrows behind it into a clean white trail. Inside the Combat Information Center, the atmosphere is calm and methodical. No one celebrates, no one talks through the event aloud. Instead, they document. Timestamps entered, bearings recorded, acoustic files saved and duplicated. Every second of the encounter preserved exactly as it happened. Stripped of emotion, stripped of interpretation. facts only. The sonar operator continues scanning the same stretch of ocean where the submarine was last detected. In the headphones, there is only background sound now. Distant currents, marine life, the slow breathing of the sea itself. Shooter remains silent, he reports. That isn't relief, it's confirmation. Above the water, the helicopter completes one final wide circle, then climbs and turns back toward the carrier. Its task is finished. No urgency in the voice over the radio, just procedure. On the flight deck, the aircraft settles back onto steel as smoothly as it departed. Chocks slide into place, rotor blades slow and finally stop. Sailors move in immediately, already preparing the helicopter for whatever mission comes next. Below decks, the carrier's systems gradually return from combat posture to normal monitoring. Displays dim slightly. Alerts reset. The rhythm slows. But nothing is forgotten. The captain stands quietly at the edge of CIC, looking at the now empty tactical display. Where there were once converging vectors and tightening angles, there is now only open water. One weapon launched, one response delivered. No additional contacts, no secondary threats, no further movement from below. The ocean has accepted the outcome, and a final sweep confirms it. No additional contacts, sonar reports. The words are logged exactly as spoken. Simple, direct, without commentary. Above the waterline, there is no announcement, no broadcast, no visible sign for anyone beyond the crew aboard the ship. The carrier doesn't increase speed to make a statement. It doesn't launch aircraft to demonstrate strength. It doesn't linger in the area. It simply continues forward. And that, in itself, is the message. In naval warfare, what doesn't happen can matter just as much as what does. Absence often speaks louder than presence. Silence can carry more meaning than noise. And restraint, when paired with capability, holds a weight no signal flare could ever match. Somewhere beneath the surface, a submarine is no longer part of the situation. Whether it withdrew, sustained damage, or is simply remaining silent in the depths no longer matters. What matters is simple. It's gone. And it didn't launch again. Inside CIC, a junior watchstander glances at the clock and records the final entry for the event. The log closes not with a dramatic statement, but with a line so plain it almost blends into the surrounding data. Inbound Torpedo defeated, shooter neutralized, carrier mission uninterrupted. That's all. No adjectives, no conclusions. The carrier moves on, unchanged in course, unchanged in purpose. Behind it, the ocean smooths itself again. The wake fades, the sounds disappear, and the surface returns to calm, as if nothing unusual ever took place here. But beneath the water, the lesson remains. A torpedo was launched. It never reached its target, and the platform that launched it did not decide how the story ended. Out here, that's all that needs to be said.